Aloha, Alteria Tempest here with the third chapter of my fanfic, I Am Frisk, an Undertale story. Skip to the time listed here if you want to hop right in, but if you want a short summary to gauge your interest, then feel free to stick around. After waking up in the body of the protagonist of Undertale, the newly named Frisk has some growing up to do if he wants to ensure everyone gets home safely. But how can he do that when he can't even save himself? This fanfic is tagged as action, adventure, reincarnation, magic, weak to strong, self-insert, time loop, and video game. You can find the first chapter on my channel or by following the link in the description below. If you can't wait for more, the actual fic is up to chapter 22 with around 50k words and also linked in the description. I hope you enjoy the story, and if you do, subscribe for more. Surprisingly, it only took Frisk 1 minute to recover from the hysteria of being crushed to death. It was 1 minute of repressing the experience as fast and as far down in his psyche as possible, but it still worked. Now, he was only slightly hyperventilating at the thought of going back into the next room to face Flowey again. Frisk honestly wasn't sure why Flowey had let him live. 1 second he seemed almost ready to pull the trigger, and then the next he just seemed amused. And that thought triggered another round of hyperventilating, only to be stopped by the warm sensation of his aura coating his body. Truly, he didn't have the time to waste here. He was sure the 2-minute mark was almost up. So, with a deep breath and another second to make sure his hold on his aura was tight, Frisk made his way to the exit. However, before he could leave completely, he saw a stick sitting on the right side of the door. Deciding that it was better than nothing, he picked it up and continued on his way. Oh, so you're not going to give up? Good, it would be disappointing if I had to go in there and kill you. Flowey's voice echoed across the smaller room. Frisk flinched at the memory that his voice pulled up, but fought through it and brandished his makeshift weapon. What's going on here, Flowey? What are you planning? Oh, Flowey smirked. Are you angry that I let you live? No, Frisk scoffed. I just don't trust you not to have an ulterior motive. Ha ha ha! Flowey's laugh grew as his mouth formed into that damned smile. You're right. What I really want is to feel the satisfaction of seeing that damned perseverance die in your eye. I want to crush your spirit just like I crushed your body. Bastard, Frisk muttered as he processed what Flowey was saying. Having someone who could effectively control time and wanted to watch you break was not ideal. I won't let you, Frisk cried out as he charged forward, taking the initiative. He swung in a wide arc with his newly found stick. Shadows lengthened and the room became bathed in contrasts. Predictably, Flowey burrowed away, leaving Frisk's stick to swing through nothing but air. Are you just gonna run this entire time? Frisk said as he tried to play off Flowey's ego. Or are you just too scared to fight me normally? At the first sign that Flowey had breached through the ground, Frisk took off trying to get a hit in while Flowey was responding. With another wild swing, he aimed to take the flower off Flowey's stem. Snap. Instead of hitting Flowey or just hitting air as Frisk expected, the stick snapped in half after coming into contact with a thick vine Flowey had grown from the ground. Frisk, taken off guard, lost control of his aura again and was knocked clear across the room by a second vine. This time, however, a second snap echoed throughout the room as Frisk landed awkwardly on his right arm. Ah! Frisk let out a short cry of pain before struggling to get his aura back under control. Wow, you'd think I'd be scared to fight someone like you? You're doing even worse than before. Flowey watched gleefully as Frisk tried to stand back up. Are you sure you just don't want to give up? If you do, I'll make your death quick. He finished in a mocking tone. Frisk's good arm clenched into a fist, and he shoved himself off the ground as he was able to finally bring his aura back. It instantly started to try and repair his arm, but Frisk knew that it wouldn't be usable in a fight anymore. Shove it, Frisk growled out through clenched teeth as his mind whirled, trying to find any way of getting out of his predicament. Ah, Flowey came to a conclusion. I think you're still wallowing under the assumption that you could actually beat me. Me! I've beaten nearly every monster in the underground. I've lived in this killer-be-kill world for decades, and you still think you can beat me in minutes? I won't know unless I try, Frisk said as he got back into his fighting stance. There wasn't any way to think himself out of this situation. All he could do was continue forward. Ha ha ha! For some reason, that response amused Flowey. Good, good. Then this won't be even more boring. As a reward, how about I show you even a fraction of my true power? Frisk tensed as 3 vines the thickness of his torso shot out of the ground. They were green, the same color as Flowey's stem, but they had massive thorns on them. Frisk started to run away from the vines, but was met with a seeming wall of baseball-sized bullets homing in on him. With a desperate move, Frisk jumped towards the part in the wall that seemed to have the least number of bullets. Taking one hit to the torso and one to the shoulder of his bad arm caused him to fall on the ground, even feeling the pain through his aura. This caused the rest of the bullets to hail down near him, their homing effects not quite powerful enough to make a full turn. However, this also created a problem for Frisk. The dust that kicked up by the bullets obscured the massive vine that rammed into the just recovering boy, sending him flying through the air for the third time. But this time, Frisk still had his aura up, and even though it had taken some punishment, it wasn't depleted yet. Recovering faster from his flight, and now back to his feet, Frisk tried to dash to the left, only to find more massive vines reining him in. Frisk glanced right and saw the same was true there. Only then did his eyes fall on Flowey, standing on the other side of his makeshift tunnel, with what seemed like an unlimited number of those golf ball-sized pellets filling the air around him. "Do try better next time," Flowey laughed. "Well, anyway, die!" A flood of spinning pellets came storming forward, and Frisk was forced to stand there, unable to dodge, desperately throwing his all into his aura. But the already depleted power couldn't hold up to the onslaught, and it shattered into shards of yellow and purple light, leaving Frisk to bear the attack himself. This felt very different from the crushing death from earlier. These pellets had no noticeable effect on Frisk's physical body. Their only damage was to his soul. It felt like he was being ripped apart on a fundamental level. And the only thing Frisk saw before it went dark was his soul shattering into pieces similar to his aura. Save loaded ×3. This time, Frisk went into the fight a little bit more prepared. He spent only 30 seconds upon the reset to get over the experience of his soul being destroyed. He then spent the rest of the time trying to learn how to infuse his stick with aura to make it more durable. This also doubled as training on keeping aura up while trying to do something else. During the fight, Frisk did better than before. His aura only slipped once, allowing for a bullet to get through and almost kill him, but the rest of the fight went better. He was able to evade the vines for much longer, and the bullets were getting easier to dodge. His stick still broke, but it deflected a hit from a vine before it died. Sadly, he still failed. This time from a vine that pierced his heart after his aura was exhausted. He was pretty sure Flowey was going easy on him for some reason, but still, he was improving. Save loaded ×6. Turns out dying 5 times doesn't make the process any easier, but dying 5 times and having to go right back into a fight for your life makes you really good at repressing. Frisk was getting better. Before every fight, he would meditate quickly with his stick, trying to get into better sync with his aura. This actually helped during the battle. This time, he kept his aura up throughout the entire fight. He even managed to bounce a bullet back by deflecting it with his stick, and the makeshift weapon didn't break. He got better at maneuvering around and using his aura-boosted stats to jump and dodge attacks. In the end, Frisk still died. He got caught from below by a vine that stopped him just enough to allow a barrage of bullets to hit his weakened barrier. But he could feel himself improving. This time, when he died, his right eye was glowing a faint purple. Save loaded ×12. During the fight, Frisk's right eye burned with an ethereal purple as he maneuvered his aura-enhanced stick to knock down barrage after barrage of flying baseball-sized bullets. A tingling sensation alerted him to attack from behind, so he put as much power into his tired legs as he had left to leap over the whip-like vine that cracked past his previous location. "Has the knowledge sunk in yet?" Frisk eyed Flowey warily as he stopped his attacks to talk. "That there's nothing you can do? No hope? No escape?" Frisk took a couple of deep breaths to regain his stamina before responding. "I'm still here, Flowey. Face it, you might crush my body, but my soul is perseverance. You can't break me." "Arrogant. I like it," Flowey called out. "But the outcome of this fight has already been predetermined. With your power like that, you'll never be able to survive in this world." Frisk's face morphed into a scowl as more and more pellets formed in the air around him. "If you never fight back, all you will do is die." Save loaded ×20. After death and in the starting room, Frisk knew that he needed to find a way to actually defeat Flowey, or he would never be free of this cycle. Melee combat had proven almost completely useless, as Flowey was very good at dodging all attacks and had impossibly good ranged options. Either he overwhelmed Frisk with hundreds of smaller pellets, did the same with precision bullet barrages, used his whip-like vines to attack or ensnare, or even did all at the same time. Frisk tried to figure out any ranged attacks that he could use himself, but the only thing that came to mind was a blade energy projection that Blake used once. Even then, he had no idea what he was doing or how to use it. With a resigned sigh, Frisk got up from his meditation and made his way back into the fight. Save loaded times 23. Frisk wasn't an idiot. He felt the burning feeling that he presumed to be perseverance both in his soul and in his right eye. He had tried multiple times to interact with the power, and so far it didn't seem to do much actively. However, there was no denying that it boosted his power. Even now, it was reinforcing his aura to make him better and more durable. Hopefully, soon he would be able to take a much more active role in this fight. Save loaded times 26. It was a victory in Frisk's eyes. Even if he didn't end up landing a single hit during the entire fight, he still won. Toriel had shown up before Flowey could finish him off. This was the first time since the second fight that Frisk had lasted so long against Flowey, and this time Frisk thought Flowey wasn't even holding back that much. When Frisk fought Flowey again for the 27th time and the shadows lengthened around him, even though Flowey had stepped up his game again, Frisk found that it didn't matter. His soul burned ever brighter. Save loaded times 29. After Dathan in the starting room, the 30th fight felt significant somehow. Frisk's eye almost hurt from how hard it was burning. He could feel the energy flowing throughout his body, similar to and reinforcing his aura. He knew somehow that he was on the verge of a breakthrough, and it would come during this fight. I'm ready. Thank you all so much for listening. If you have any questions or comments about the story, feel free to ask them below, as I'm a vampire that feeds off engagement. More chapters can be found on Web Novel, Scribble Hub, and Railroad up to chapter 22, though more will hopefully be written soon depending on the reception this gets, so like and subscribe if you enjoyed. If you want to head out now, that's fine, but feel free to stick around as I kind of ramble about what I wanted to talk about regarding this story. So I started this I Am Frisk a long time ago, and it definitely shows in the writing department. I wouldn't say it's bad, but I definitely do read it now and kind of nitpick here and there, even change a little bit while I'm talking, but I don't really want to change that much because I know that if I try to start or rewrite, then I'm never going to finish the story, so I'm kind of just pushing forward for right now. I definitely do think the story, the writing of the story improves as it goes on, and I still think the base story there is really good and fun because I keep on coming back to it. It's in my mind, and I see it where it's going, and I can see that I definitely want to get there, but it's just gonna take a little while to actually get there. So, funny story, it actually started as a idea that I got from a Worm CYOA, Choose Your Own Adventure thing. I think it was the version 6, I don't know, it was a long time ago that I made it, so I don't have access to the CYOA, and I've changed a ton of stuff, and kind of moved away from the whole multiple worlds aspect, because I had this whole part planned out, and then I had another part planned out a little bit where they would get to the surface and then do a bunch of stuff up there and then connect to another world. And Scion, I'm so bad with the names, but the main bad guy basically of Worm would go on to get like an inverted he would go on to get an inverted sadness emotion magic, and would become like a big threat, and then Frisk would fight him, and it was just it was a big thing that I definitely don't think can happen now with the story that I've planned. Maybe if I get obsessed with Worm in the future and I'm done with the story, and then I can make like kind of a little spin-off story, I think that would be fun. But for now, it's definitely just an Undertale story. So that's basically all I wanted to say here at the end. Feel free to comment down below any questions you have, and about the story going into the future as well. I'll try to answer as much as I can. I can even give out spoilers if people don't really care about that. I'll tag them below with spoilers. But I definitely have some ideas, and maybe even some people to run by them. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Thank you all so much for listening to this little rant at the end here, and have a good rest of your day. Adios.